All right. Well, this
Yeah.
is officially the info session call that I usually do once in a while for my our meditation teacher training, which we do once a year here in Bali. And my goal is to just give you some high level information, answer questions, go as deep as you like, and then I can guide you in a meditation if you'd like to stay for that portion of the call. And we can all go off in our nice ways with feeling good. So,
Sounds
Amazing.
good.
first off, um, the website for the meditation teacher training is through my website, leahsantacruz.com/. MTT, standing for meditation teacher training. And it's got lots of details on there, but it's a lot for people to sometimes digest all of it. And sometimes it's just nice to have a little conversation and hear it out of the mouth of a teacher. So the dates are May 9th through the 26th. It's 18 days from the 9th to 26th, but we actually get 2 days off. So the whole training is 16 days, but we have some integration time because that's a lot to just go every day through a training without having time off.
Yeah.
So during the teacher training is May 9th through 26th. That's actually not high season. That's our
No.
lower
Yeah.
season for travel, which is really nice because it means there's less traffic. It's a little more spacious. Um, you're going to enjoy that accommodations are more affordable. It's just a little bit easier all around to come here, and then the weather is pretty good that time. It's just coming out of rainy season, so it's of course tropical island, so there might be showers that come and go, but that it's never like it's never for too long, and it's usually
Mhm.
always still warm and pool weather. So
Yeah.
uh through the 18-day training, we're going to start in the mornings, typically around 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. We would do a morning practice, a morning meditation, a morning lecture, or diving right into philosophy and giving you a solid um, a chunk of information that you can digest about all the different foundations of meditation, the different techniques. We go into the science behind it. We talk about the research that's backing these techniques, the psychology behind it. We talk about trauma informed practices so that whether, let's say, face it, most people on the planet have some form of trauma, even if you just lived through COVID, and that was your big trauma. That's still something. So we talk about how to approach that when that comes up for people in their meditation, and whether it's for you or your loved ones. How can we be more informed as people guiding it for other people who might have suppressed trauma or traumas that they're releasing or they're working through? And then we talk in great detail about the different categories of meditation. There are so many styles of meditation out there, as you might know. It's not a one size fits all. And I have seen many people specialize in just one form of meditation as a teacher, and that's totally one way to go about it. But I find personally, for me and for many people I know, that there's not just one technique that works for all my different needs. When I'm experiencing grief, I may need to turn to certain types of meditation. If I'm feeling low in energy, certain types of meditations are going to energize me and pick me back up. Whilst if someone's stuck in a fight or flight in their nervous system, they may need a different type of meditation than someone who needs to be energized. And so there's different needs, different mind types, and understanding what styles of meditation are good for what folks, for what needs, what preferences, can help steer you in your own personal practice to know, okay, I've got these different tools in my toolkit. And I can also share that with different people depending on what information they're giving to me so that I'm not just giving, it's like going to a doctor who gives the same antibiotics to everybody no matter what, just without knowing your symptoms, right? It's like get to know your patient first before you prescribe the medicines. In our case, get to know people and what their needs are and preferences and lifestyle is before guiding them towards a specific technique. Because there's different benefits and consequences for different techniques depending on the person doing it and how often they're doing it. So we'll have like every morning these philosophy deep talks, and then we'll have a movement practice, whether that's yoga or it's a dancing meditation or some sort of movement practice. We're going to be doing a lot of yoga, but it's for all levels. So no worries if you're not like an advanced yogi. Christina, I know you can do some power yoga, but there's all different levels and backgrounds in the group. Not everybody's a yogi, so we try to make
My
it accessible
specialty
for
is
everyone.
yin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not a power yoga person.
I've seen you do it, but you're like, yeah, yin
Yeah.
all the way. We'll be doing some of that too. Good stuff. Um, and then we have a nice long lunch break every day where we all get to eat lunch together. Your lunch is included. We also have a breakfast that's included. It's a light breakfast because we're going to be doing movement. So, we have fruit and yogurt and sort of like that continental kind of breakfast. And then we have a nice lunch that is really healthy. They have organic foods there. The yoga barn is it's incredible, the different options that you can have. And whether you're vegan or you like some chicken or whatnot, like there's just something for everybody. Um, and then we come back into the lessons for the second half of the day. And that's typically when we might have an additional lecture, but we're going to do a lot of practicum. So our goal is to really prepare you right away. From about 3 days in, we start practicing teaching. So you're learning alongside practicing, which I think is the best method because then you're really integrating what you're hearing. And by the end of the 18 days, it's not like you just started practice teaching right before for the final. Like you've been practicing for several weeks now with one-on-one with partners or in little small groups and eventually to the whole class so that when you leave this training, you've already had lots of repetitions of getting these words out and moving through all the mistakes and learning from other people's mistakes. And it's a safe environment for everyone. Everyone's nervous. Everyone's doing this for the first time and supporting one another. So it's a really, really nice, safe place to get those repetitions in so that when you do leave the training, you feel more confident to go out there and start teaching or, pick up a class at a local studio or teach it to your team, wherever you decide to be sharing meditation to. So we've just seen that really is one of the most important things that often gets overlooked during teacher trainings. I don't know if you did that, Matt, in your teacher trainings in India, but I just know that the teacher trainings I've taken in the past put very little emphasis on practice teaching. And so we try to make it a big point in our trainings. Um, and that also helps you step into other skills like confidence in front of a group, being able to speak your voice, step into your power, work on your presence, because there's more to teaching meditation than just going through the motions of the words. It's how you say it, it's the skill of the timing, it's the pacing, it's the choice of music perhaps that you use, it's how you engage the group, how you inform them, the safety that you create. So there's lots of different little elements, and being able to get the feedback in real time is just like so valuable. Um, what else here? So some of the other things that we're going to be talking about in depth is the business behind teaching. Now, some people come and they're like, yeah, I'm a yoga teacher already, or I'm thinking about being a yoga teacher, adding meditation on, or I want to be a meditation teacher itself, or I'm not really interested in being a teacher, but I work at a company, or I'm a doctor, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm a coach of some sort, and I might just share it as an offering. Either way, we want to give you the sort of solid understanding of what is required to go out into the world and to find clients or to work with a studio or have partnerships where you're creating retreats or workshops or classes and how to design those classes and um, uh, how to think about the way you define them for people and map out what do everything from we discussed like what do people charge, what is the right way to have private sessions with folks, because you might have individuals coming to you just wanting a private session, and that's very different than leading a group class. So how do I navigate private sessions with people? And what do I even talk about? What do I do? So we go through all those details to help guide you. And then we're also available to you after the training. Like I have people coming to me from last year and the year before going, hey, now I'm finally stepping into this private sessions, and can you remind me, can you help me work through, so we're there to troubleshoot with you, we're there to like mentor you all along the path afterwards. It's not just like, okay, see you later, bye, but just continued support. And of course, one of the greatest parts of going to an in-person teacher training is that you create these really tight bonds and relationships with the people that are in your cohort, that are in your group. We call it a kula, which means like a family. And you really do feel that because people stay in touch long after. And even we oftentimes see people collaborating afterwards and continuing to be friends and support each other. So that's really, really a cool benefit of coming to an in person training. So I'm the primary teacher, and you'll be seeing a lot of me, but also my husband Paul Tioto is the secondary teacher. You're going to see a lot of him, and he brings a whole other skill set that makes it powerful. But we also have three other teachers: Michael Henry, who's an expert in anatomy and physiology and in trauma and nervous system. So he's going to be talking through different things like science of breathing and the body and the postures and trauma. Whereas Vijeth Kumar and Akshay Bhatt are two really, really incredible uh, philosophy uh, guides, and they are from India. They've been steeped in yoga and meditation their whole lives. They come from long lineages of this. They also work with East West Matt, and so they're going to be your sort of a flip side to me bringing a modern approach about what's going on in like the Western world, and them talking about like the deeper Eastern philosophies behind these practices, and talking about things like the history and understanding deep into mantra or into the energy centers, the more esoteric um, understandings behind meditation. And they just, they're so wonderful, and they're like some of the best human beings you'll ever meet. And they have this beautiful way of telling things through stories that really helps you embody things, like know it deep in your bones, you know? You're gonna love them. Uh, the techniques itself that we go through are multiple. So one is the category of present moment awareness. And in that category, we have things like breath awareness, or also called anapana. We're going to be doing this technique, breath control practices that help regulate the nervous system, um, that are energizing breath practices, calming breath practices, and balancing breath practices. Then we're going to be practicing body scan. So all of those sort of fall into that present moment awareness category. And all of them are techniques that you're going to be getting scripts on. You're going to be learning, like, how do I say this? How do I move through it? And then eventually you'll make it your own and you don't have to rely on those. But it helps you in the beginning. Another category of meditation that we cover is the category of transcendence. So mantra is the primary technique there. There's many different ways people do mantra. We talk about this different kinds of ways, and we guide you in that. Energizing body and mind practice. It sort of has some crossover with the present moment awareness, but we go through some energizing practices, and some of those are moving as well, moving the body. And we get a little outside of the box of what you typically think of as meditation, sitting and being still. But it can be fiery and moving and passionate too. And then we go over calm awareness practices like instinctive meditation, which is really my favorite and expertise in, and loving kindness or metta bhavana practices. And also, we talk about guided visualization because that's a whole art in itself. Creating guided visualizations for people, and that can go many, many different ways. So we go into talks about how to do that. So those are the primary techniques, and it sounds like a lot, but we want to give you that kind of baseline of multiple different styles and the primary categories so that you feel really equipped. And even if you're like, I really love this one, but it's not for me, um, it might be for somebody else that comes to you. So just knowing the technique itself, even if it's not something that you personally use, can be really, really helpful. Okay, I've just talked a whole lot. So if there's, let me open it for some questions or and comments or whatever you might be thinking. No questions?
No questions.
Sure.
Just a comment. It's really sounds like it's very holistic and you're covering a lot of areas. So it's yeah, there's a lot there. It sounds like it's really good. You cover a lot in the 18 days. Um,
Yeah.
so it sounds yeah, really sounds really amazing.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Matt. Yeah. You know, I was very fortunate to have met some mentors along the way early on when I started teaching meditation. Um, that gave me deep insight into the fact that, just like going to the gym, you wouldn't just focus on doing bench press all the time or just your upper body. Like you need to do your lower body, or you also need to work on
Mm,
flexibility and as well as strength and mobility and all these other things. And so, you know, sometimes folks go down a path of just doing one technique very evangelically for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. But what is seen there is sometimes unintended consequences from it, from over developing one aspect of your mind body system and not necessarily paying attention to the others can have unintended consequences in your life, just like anything
mm,
else it could, just like exercise.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, there's very few trainings out there that talk about a plethora of techniques and give you this baseline. Most are going to specialize like in one category.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, One of the reasons why I want to do it is I've in recent years become a counselor. That's what I studied when I was during lockdown. I went back to university, and
Wow.
but one of the best lecturer I had there said a very similar thing. He said, "Your different counselors or psychs will have a framework or an approach or a methodology that they prefer, but you're
Yeah.
very unwise, and it's kind of almost unfair to your clients if you're not open to all the different types of working and frameworks that are available, even if you don't think they work for yourself or if you're not so hot about them, it might be perfect for a certain client and where they're coming from.
Right.
So it's a similar idea. I think it's really good to not be closed off to. And he said he made some joke saying, for me, if there was a technique where you had to walk around a tree for 3 hours at midnight and slapping yourself with a big leaf and it worked, I would do that technique. Um, Something like that. I paraphrase what he said,
Yeah.
but basically saying if it works and it's good for your client, then you shouldn't be closed off to it. So
Right.
yeah, that was my comment I wanted to make. But that's what I was trying to say before. I like how you do cover a lot of areas, and you've got the old sort of the mystique side of it as well as the modern side. I think
Yeah.
it's important um, to have all the aspects there.
Yeah,
And yeah,
absolutely.
that's one of the reasons why I meditation when you're working with clients as a counselor, it comes into it quite a lot. If someone's
Hmm.
presenting in crisis
Hmm.
and they need to be grounded before you can do any work, or
Yeah.
just generally, it's amazing to help with anxiety, which is a really big common thing for people these days.
Yeah. Back when I lived in
So
Los Angeles, I partnered with, there was a really well-known psychiatrist there, counselor, and he would send his patients to me for meditation. It was like,
yeah,
here, we're going to work together on the talk therapy side of it. We're going to do the CBT. We're going to, but please do go over here for some meditation. And he just gave me some, high level details about what he felt like they might need. And so that was a really nice relationship. But now more and more, I'm seeing people who are in the mental health professional
mm,
industry as whether it's doctors or counselors or psychiatrists are interested in learning the techniques themselves and incorporating it. And we
mm,
actually have a couple that are already signed up for this training, which is really cool. Um, to
Right.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I incorporate it when I do group facilitation or whatever with different clients. That's how I start the day. I just start with just even some body scans and some breathing, and it's amazing how,
Yeah.
because I come in very all over the place, and just how just the room, the whole room comes relaxed within a very short time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely goes hand in hand. Yeah, yeah. So I don't want to do all the talking,
No
Christina. I
worries.
don't mean to.
Thanks,
I'm
Matt.
going to put
Appreciate that
myself on
share.
mute in a moment. But I didn't. What average on average when you do these the teacher training? How many people would you have in a group generally?
Generally between 15, well, actually we haven't had 15 that low. We've had between 20 and 25 the last couple of years. And this year we are going to cap it at 28, so it won't go over that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
it may sell out because we've had a lot of in interested people. We have 16 people signed up right now. And of course it's just well, it's March 1st here, but February for you guys
Fantastic.
perhaps. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
in the
so
same
we
hemisphere as you.
may get up to 28 people, but that's still a nice number where we've done enough trainings now that we are familiar with the sizing of the room, the sizing of the group, and what that's sort of like the point where above that, like above 30, it starts to feel less intimate and people kind
Mm.
of start to shift into smaller groups. So when we keep it under 28, we still feel that nice group intimacy with one another, and everyone gets a chance to kind of get to know each other and to feel comfortable and have a chance to be up in front of the group multiple times.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
great question though.
And Christina, do you have, I was going to have one more question, unless
Sure.
Christina wants to talk. I don't want to steal the.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm just listening and yeah, I don't have any questions. I mean, I've just always been kind of interested in it. I don't know if I could work out the timing, but I figured it was very good idea for me to come and listen and
Yeah.
think about it.
Cool. What was my other question? I had it just there, and now it's going. No. Well, here's another one, but this is sorry, another one's popped into my head, but this might be in when I look at your website, just with regards to accommodation. Is that on site? Is that at the yoga
Oh
barn, or do
yeah.
you find accommodation? Okay.
So there are accommodations at the yoga barn. You would you would need to make those arrangements for yourself. And
Okay.
sometimes the yoga barn accommodations sell out like in advance kind of quickly because it's limited there. But because we're in the center of town, we're like an oasis in the center of town. You don't notice that you're in town, just like lush
Mm,
jungle around you. But
mm.
there are plenty of places in walking range within 5 minutes
Yeah.
all around town within whatever budget that you're in, and
Yeah.
they typically start around 30 USD a night. And that's for like
Yeah.
it's pretty basic. It's you might have breakfast included and have good Wi-Fi and AC, and it's clean, and but nothing too fancy for that amount. But you can go anywhere up
Yeah.
to, depending on the luxury that you want. But there should be a
You know,
good amount of accommodations, and we have a whole list of places we recommend that people have stayed at before and liked.
yeah, no, that's cool. We stayed, my partner and I, we stayed there in that area actually. What was it? Jalan Raya
Pengosekan. Yeah,
Pengasekan?
good memory.
Pengasekan. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, it's hard to remember sometimes. But we stayed at a couple of nice places there, and you wouldn't know on that main street, and you go down the back, and then you're next to a rice field, and
Yeah,
just very quiet. Even though the street can be quite busy down there, it's like a little oasis. So I know what you mean,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I just wasn't sure whether whether that was part of the deal, or that's
Yes,
separate.
it's
So
separate. We want everybody to be able to stay in a place that feels comfortable for them because you're here for 3 weeks, and many
mm,
people come
mm,
for longer to explore more of the island, and so we want everyone to be able to stay in a place that feels best for them. Um, and we do include the 2 meals in the mornings during the days that we have the training, and one dinner. But oftentimes people will go out to dinner with the friends that you make here after class, after training, and there's a ton of great restaurants around. So we have a whole list of like recommendations, things to see, things to do, activities, massage therapists to go to, healers, whatever you want. We can help you. And I have an assistant, Kiara, that's really, really great to talk to, and a couple assistants that are living here that can be a good resource for you if you want to have someone to talk to beforehand to help you make preparations. And we can give you that info of like places to look at beforehand as well. Typically, we'll send it out in the welcome packet when someone signs up. It'll be all there. But
Yeah.
you know, we want to make it easy for you. And a lot of people ask this question, which you didn't ask, but you know, many people are curious, like, do I need to have a certain amount of experience already to be able to come into this? Or is there prerequisites? But there really isn't a prerequisite for starting this training. You don't have to have done like a 200-hour yoga teacher training or anything like that. You don't even have to be a quote advanced level meditator, because like who really knows what that is and when you've reached that anyways. We're all learning. Meditation's just your relationship to life. So in fact, I find some people who are newer to meditation have an easier time in the training because they don't have to unlearn as many bad habits that they might have picked up along the way in their practice. But really, anyone at any level of the practice can come and gain something from it. And if you're like, you know, I'm just doing this for personal reasons, I'm not really interested in teaching, that's totally fine too. Quite a few people have done that. You're still going to be required to practice teaching because you're going to learn through that experience, and then you really, really know it. And it also helps you with just regular life skills, you know, like the confidence, the ability to speak and have presence and be in your power. But yeah, I wanted to answer that even though you didn't ask, because people watching this might have that question. Well,
Oh, people
And
watching.
a question, you said it starts at 7, like what time do you go until?
Until about 6:30 p.m. Yeah, some days we'll end a little earlier. We might have a half day once, and there might be a couple times where we go till like 7 if we have a dinner or something, but or an excursion. But otherwise, it's usually 7:30 to 6:30 with a break, big break in between, and you get a couple smaller breaks too. So some people come and they're like, I'm still working remotely. I'm gonna have to answer emails or client calls like in the morning or during my lunch break, and that's fine too. You know, we just ask that you have 90% attendance, so you're not missing more than like a day or day and a half. And if you do miss sessions, you can make up for them by interviewing a couple other people that went to that session and just finding out what they learned from it and what was interesting or new to them, and then you can make up that session. And of course, we have like this really detailed manual that I've made for you. It's like a book, and everything that we cover, most things that we cover, is in that book too. So you just want to read through everything well, and yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, since that's all the questions, how about we do a little short meditation if you're open to that? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Should,
amazing.
should we say remain seated or?
You can remain seated. You can lie down if that's more comfortable for you. Uh, you could stand up.
No, that's not.
Really,
I'll
like,
fall over.
there is multiple ways you can go about. It's just let your body move in a way that feels good to you, or let it rest in a way that feels good to you. Typically, if you're going to sit down, you're going to want to not hunch over. That's the only thing that I recommend is none of this with your shoulders. Just open your body, but uh, a lengthy spine is good, but not an uptight spine. You don't want to have tension. You don't need to strain or be stiff, just in a relaxed, comfortable way. All right, let's take a deep breath in and exhale. Let's take another breath and release. And now this time we're going to practice something we call a physiological sigh, which is 2 sharp in-breaths through the nose and 1 audible sigh out, like this. So practice that with me. Inhale, inhale. Very nice. If that felt really good and you'd like to do it again, you can. Otherwise, just let your breath return to a natural rhythm. And you can have a low or steady gaze, or close the eyelids. And just notice that sense of relief as you allow your body to relax here, letting your shoulders fall away from your ears. Softening that space between your eyebrows and eyes. Relaxing your jaw. And notice if you're holding anything in the center of your body. Taking a breath in through the chest to release any tension around your heart. Relaxing your lower abdomen if you've been holding in there unconsciously. And just checking in with what is true for you right now, what is alive in you in this moment. Just like checking the weather outside, can you check the weather internally? Is there a mood present? No need to change it or control it, but just recognizing what's here and letting your breath meet whatever is present. And also noticing the sounds that are in your environment right now. Can you also welcome these, letting go of any need to resist or judge sounds? And also welcoming whatever thoughts are passing through your mind. We often tend to try and stop our thoughts in meditation, but can you take an alternative path and welcome what's here? Just letting it pass on through. Just like we let clouds pass through the sky. Witnessing them appear and dissolve. Now I'd like you to bring your attention to this question. What makes you feel alive? You might recall a moment or activity, a place, some aspect of life in which you feel the most alive. When do you feel really, truly alive? For some people, it's climbing a mountain, laughing with loved ones, being at the ocean, Find something for you right now that pops into mind. And can you picture it now? Invite your sense memories of what does it look like when you're here doing this activity? What colors and textures do you see? What is the scenery like? And can you recall the sense memory of sound? What does it sound like when you're feeling the most alive? What sounds show up? Perhaps there's a scent also in the air, a scent of nature or something else, someone else. And can you recall how it feels? How it feels in your body? Perhaps there's a kiss of the sun touching your skin, or the coolness of water or air. Perhaps it's the touch of a loved one or the earth beneath your feet. And how does it feel in your body to be here, to be doing this? Make it real for you in this moment as though it was happening now. So take just another moment here in this feeling of aliveness. Recalling the sounds, sensations in your body. What it looks like, how it feels within you to be here doing this. Perhaps it brings a sense of calm to you or energizes you, warms your heart, or brings a smile to your face. To feel that aliveness flowing through your body. It's a miracle to be alive here. And now let's take a deep breath in and exhale, let it go. Letting the image fade away and just bringing your attention to this present moment for 1 minute longer. Feeling the surface beneath you. The breath moving through your body. Let's set an intention for the rest of today or this evening. What am I inviting in? How do I wish to feel? Let's take a deep breath into that intention now. And on the exhale, let it go. And at your own time, when you feel ready to, you can slowly return back, opening the eyes and coming back into this space. Welcome back. Lost you guys in the ethers of the tech world for a moment.
Just for a few minutes.
All good.
But you came back, so that's the main thing.
Yeah.
That was so nice.
Limitations
Thank
to
you.
Zoom.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
That's
It was
a
so
sort
nice.
of
Thank
style,
you.
one way to do an instinctive meditation. Excuse me. Yeah, all about connecting to what you want to feel. So thank you guys for joining me. It was really lovely to see your faces, and whether I see you at the training or not, I hope to see you there, but it's really nice to connect with you both. So
You too. Thank you so much for your time, Leah.
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so good to see you.
You too. Have a lovely night, day.
Thank
See
you.
you
Bye,
guys
Matt.
later.
You too. Bye,
Thanks.
Christine. Nice to meet
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Might see you there.
Nice to meet you.
Might see you in Bali.
Yeah. Ciao.
Bye.